Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I figured since it is a day after Roadkill nights, I had some time to process everything of what was going on, kind of the events that popped up, and kind of the three big takeaways that I wanted to share with you about my opinion with Dodge and what's going on over at Stellantis. So this is the first thing I wanted to touch on. I'm looking at my Ram Rebel GT right now with the 5.7 Hemi in it, and I'm in love with this option. So this is the 5.7 Hemi with a supercharger on it, and apparently in this video by TFL Truck, it really sounds like this is going to be an option for the direct connection program. So something you could buy from the dealership and have them installed with some sort of warranty option. I'm not sure, but that's what it sounds like in the video. So the 5.7 Hemi is back. The product engineers said that this will be an option in the future, which is awesome. And as reported by TFL Truck, you could get the Ram-approved supercharger bolted on the top of the new engine. And that works with the e-torque system as well. So I've been looking at this option for a while now for my Ram trucks, getting a supercharger on it, but this is something that you can actually get from the dealer. I'm guessing after purchase and install, this is probably a $10,000 option, which is insane, but that's where we're at with the world right now, and I think it's much needed. But what I think Ram really should have done instead of the supercharger option is add the 392 to the lineup, which they still may do in 2027. I don't know. But I really think with the addition of the Gladiator 392 now, I think that they should have added a 392 option to the Ram trucks. But honestly, this supercharger will have to do for now, and it's something that I am super interested in, even for my truck, if they can, retrofit it on a 2023 model. That would be fantastic. So, Ford has done this in the past. GM has different crate engines that you can put on there. But this is, a really good option for somebody who doesn't want to spend TRX money or doesn't need the off-road readiness of the TRX, and they want to spend, $60,000 to $70,000 on a truck, with the supercharged option. I think it's great. So, again, this is e-torque. Again, you get 600 horsepower with it, with the e-torque system. I think that's amazing. You can get 600 horsepower out of the 5.7 Hemi with just the direct connection kit. Most supercharged versions I've seen are about 500 to 550, not 600, which is insane. So, again, here, I think this is a great option. I think it's something that needed to be done. I think, though, instead of going, which, yes, I think it should be offered on direct connection, but I think they should offer this as a regular trim on the Ram trucks, whether it's a Rebel X trim or whether it's a Bighorn X or a Laramie X, whatever. I think it's something that, they should really put in the lineup, because Ram truck owners have been looking for something like this since basically 2009, when the Hemi was the most powerful full-size truck engine in its segment, and they really should offer this as a different trim for the Ram truck. I think where Ram has really dropped the ball the last few years, especially since the addition or the Gen 5 release, is not offering a more powerful engine, especially something like the 392. They really did a good job with the GT package for somebody who likes to drive, like myself, who's a car enthusiast. Having the paddle shifters, having the Mopar cold air intake, having the Mopar cold end exhaust, that stuff is really, really nice. But at the same time, we're still missing out on the 6.4 Hemi. They've thrown it in the Wagoneer. They've thrown it in the Wrangler, the Jeep, the Durango, the Gladiator now. Why not throw it in the 1500? It seems like a no-brainer. And for the amount of money that I just spent on my truck used, I would most certainly spend another $10,000 to buy a brand new truck with a 6.4 Hemi in it. But that's something that they just haven't done yet. I think the supercharged option is good, though, because it does fit with I would say, the ethos of the company with the Hellcat engines, having a supercharger on everything. So I think it really fits the ethos of the company. It keeps the beloved 5.7 Hemi around with more power. I'm curious to see what the pricing is. I'm guessing it's going to be about $10,000. But that's okay. That's okay. You could still buy a Ram truck. Let's say you want a lower level Laramie or a higher trim Bighorn. You spend $60,000 on the truck after rebates and incentives. Now you want to throw a supercharge on it. Boom, $70,000. Not too bad in today's world of trucks. But I digress. I love it. I think it is time that they did something like this. And I think it is too late. But hey, at least we get the option. So let's move on here. I want to touch on the Dodge Charger last. Here's what I really want to touch on as well. As you know, we own a Dodge Durango RT Tow and Go as well. Or if you don't know, now you do know. So this is released by Mopar Junkie and MoparInsiders.com. Dodge CEO Matt McAleer kind of I wouldn't say jumped the gun, but he released this without anybody knowing. And I think this is freaking awesome. I think this is the step in the right direction for Dodge and Chrysler, Ram, everything. So you're using a platform that's been around since 2011 with the Dodge Durango, and now we're finally going full Hemi. This is something that should have been done a while ago. So now the GT, starting at like $43,000, gets the Hemi V8. It's the most affordable full-size crossover or SUV on the market with standard V8 power. Now you move up to the RT, and I think this is the biggest surprise yet. The RT trim with the Durango that starts like $5 under $50,000 gets a 392 Hemi. So, little backstory. We have a Dodge Durango RT Tow and Go, which is basically the SRT Lite. So you get all of the cooling, all of the braking, all the towing, everything that the SRT has besides launch control, and the 392 engine. It is awesome. The transmission 8-speed, fan-freaking-tastic. That Dodge Durango RT Tow and Go is so fun to drive, and it doesn't go fast enough to where it's going to get you in illegal speeds. It is just a wonderful blast to drive. So now you are adding the venerable 392 engine to the fleet with the RT trim. So now you're paying under $50,000. When we bought that Durango RT Tow and Go, it was $53,000 used. That was when the car market was crazy, but that was a $65,000 vehicle, brand new. And now you can get the 392 for under $50,000. Just think, when you want to buy an RT, you get the 392, you get 8,700 pounds of towing, you get a 500 horsepower Goliath giant of a vehicle that handles well, that accelerates really well, and you're paying for a fully optioned out one of these, you're probably paying $60,000 to $65,000. What a steal. So I am absolutely in love with this. Now every single Durango has a Hemi. The GT has the 5.7 Hemi, which is fantastic. So now I would have to assume you're going to get some sort of GT Tow and Go group, just like the RT had, but at a lesser price. I really think the only good car in the lineup right now is the Durango for Dodge. The Hornet is too small. The Charger is the Charger. But man, they are killing it with the Durango. And this is the direction that Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram needs to go in, is offering vehicles like this, like the Durango, like the Ram truck now, like the Wrangler 392 and the Gladiator 392. And they need to follow in Dodge's footsteps, specifically the Durango, and make them affordable. And Big Truck Series on YouTube goes on and on about vehicles being either hopelessly unaffordable or boring. And that's basically where we're at with the Stellantis lineup right now. They're hopelessly unaffordable. And I think walking back some of the pricing is going to, or they're boring, i.e. Dodge Hornet, exceptionally boring unless you get the RT trim. That goes for the Tonale to its platform mate. Exceptionally boring unless you get an upper trim, which is like $50,000 before rebates and incentives, which is way too freaking expensive. Why would I buy a Dodge Hornet RT for $50,000 or $53,000 fully loaded when I could get a Durango RT with the 392? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the pricing? This is a video. This is a topic for another video, is the pricing with how bad Stellantis is. But maybe they're going to change that for 2026. I don't know. That's a topic for another video. Carlos Tavares screwed up the pricing with this company. But again, topic for another video. So sticking to the RT392, I think my parents, they have their 2021 Durango RT Tow and Go. I think, they're searching for another vehicle in the Stellantis lineup. I told them to keep the RT Tow and Go and maybe go with some sort of Wrangler 4xe or Grand Cherokee 4xe because they really like, we have a Grand Cherokee 4xe and they really like that. Or Gladiator because they kind of need it for truck stuff just to have the bed. But I told them maybe wait now and get this RT 392. Maybe wait and get that because I do have my Jeep SRT as well, and they know how much of a blast that is to drive. So now, you can get a Durango with just that much more room, and it's that much more of a blast to drive around. So they may go that route. I don't know. But here we go again. Here with me talking about it, this gives people options. This gives people options to buy what they want finally and own a performance vehicle at a lesser price. It's wonderful. This is what people want. So Durango wrap up. They did everything right here, and I'm excited to see these on the lots. I'm excited to maybe test drive the RT. Of course, the RT all-wheel drive model will open later in the year. And here we go. We're going to the last bit. So I think personally, this is my personal opinion, the Charger is one of the better or best looking sedan/coupes on the market today. I love my muscle cars. I love my Mopar. I'm biased, but I think this is the case. I think the S-Class looks better in coupe and sedan form personally, but other than that, I don't think there are a lot of other vehicles on the market that look this good. They just don't. So we were kind of expecting Dodge to release this vehicle with an optional Hemi V8, but they did not. They put the Hurricane engines in there. I've test drove both Hurricane engines, the standard output and the high output in the Ram trucks. And I have to say, the Ram truck, the Limited that I tried out with the high output, was almost as fast as my Jeep SRT. It was incredible at how quick it was. But here's the problem. There's no character to that engine. It's almost an electric-like experience because of how smooth it is and how refined it is and how quiet it is. When I buy a truck, I'm not necessarily looking for that. I'm looking for a V8 with some performance to it. And I know TFL with their Ike Gauntlet testing and other media sources have done testing with their Hemi options and the Hurricane options. But here's the problem. When I'm towing my skid steer for work, which I have to do, or when I tow my tractor for work, which I have to do, I don't want to tow with a 3-liter displacement engine with twin turbos. I want to tow with a Hemi V8 with a dipstick in it. That's just my ethos. That's where I'm at. I'm all for innovation. I'm all for... I've owned twin turbo engines before. I've owned turbocharged engines before. They're great. They're wonderful. I own one right now. It is great. But at the end of the day, I own a couple, actually. The 2-liter Hurricane in our 4xe and a 2-liter LNF engine in my Solstice GXP. Great engines. For their use case, they're wonderful. But for towing, do I really want that? No, I don't. That's a lot out of warranty. That's a lot that can go wrong compared to a naturally aspirated engine. And there's a reason why Ford keeps the Coyote alive in their F-150. There's a reason why GM has their 5.3 and their 6.2 Ecotechs alive and well. And there's a reason why the Hemi has the same gas mileage as the standard output, basically, and the high output. So when you offer these vehicles, you're not offering better gas mileage, and you need to put in premium with those turbochargers. So it just, I don't like the fact that Dodge didn't offer a V8 option with this vehicle. I've seen it in person. These vehicles are massive. They're as big as a Charger and the Challenger of old. So why not give us, even if it's a 6.4 option, just why not give us the old Hemis in here? Now, these are both fast, but the 3-liter Hurricane engine, as you can see, offers 550 horsepower and 531 pound-feet of torque and a 12.2 quarter-mile time and a 3.9 0 to 60, but you could get the Charger or Challenger in Scat Pack form wide body and achieve these same numbers with the 6.4 Hemi. So are you telling me that with all-wheel drive now, these weigh that much more and you're not achieving much better numbers? Why? I don't think. And the price. Here we go. The price. The Charger Scat Pack starting at $54,995. That's not terrible for the Scat Pack. I'm sure to get one with, available options, you're looking at $60 to $65 to get just your basic stuff. But still, that's a lot of money. I'm excited to see what the RT is going to offer in terms of performance. If it's going to be similar to the old RT where you could achieve right around a 5-second 0 to 60 time. These must weigh a ton. I don't know if they say how much the vehicle weighs, but I don't know. I've heard the vehicle. If you're watching this, you probably heard the vehicle. But look at that. 305s up front, 325s in the rear. I do have to say, I bet this vehicle handles better. I bet it handles better than the old vehicles. But we want V8s. I want that sound. When I heard the Durango Hellcat start up, and then a video later on YouTube, I heard the 6-pack Scat Pack. It just didn't sound the same. It didn't sound the same. Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have. Your ethos of your company is big V8s. And on one aisle, you have a Durango going full Hemi. 5.7 for the GT, the base model, 6.4 for the RT, and then 6.2 supercharged for the Hellcat. Great. That's your ethos. That's what you want to go with. And then now on this end, you're going with 2 twin-turboed options. Like, what the hell is going on here? I get so worked up over it. You're going away from your ethos. I don't have any problem, and Tim Kuniskis said this in his Ram video when they unleashed the Hemi for the Ram again. People want options. We're Americans and we want options. That's just how it goes. We're greedy. We're fat. We're rude. We like our options. And when most of your cars do have those options, but then you release your beloved Charger without those options, why are you going against the ethos of your company? It still seems like a product is half developed, and it still seems like they have work to do here to get the Hemi back into the vehicle. Look at that red Charger. Don't tell me that's one of the greatest design cars on the market today. Don't tell me it's not. But when you tell me, oh, I can only get a standard or a high output 3-liter, I don't want that. I don't want that in a vehicle. This is not a BMW fighter. This is not a Mercedes fighter. This is an American Charger. Look at Cadillac, what they are doing for their Halo cars. 6.2 supercharge everything. Escalade V, CT5 Blackwing. Supercharge it. Their V Lite is the 3-liter. Their V Blackwing is the supercharged version. So give us something that we want to buy. Give us something that we want to buy. Unless I see a lease deal that was really good with this Scat Pack, I'm not buying it because I don't want to spend my money on something like that. I would much rather spend my money keeping my 6.1 Challenger on the road with a manual than to buy one of these cars. Now, the only exception would be if they come out with a Hemi, with a 392 Hemi in here. Otherwise, I'm not buying this. I mean, it just looks wonderful. I love the way this vehicle was designed. Stellantis has the best exterior and interior designs in the business, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, if you don't give us the options that we want for engines, then why are we going to buy it? So here we go. The 6-pack HO will be available late 2025. The standard output arrives about a year from now on the Charger RT. So we're still a long ways out into getting this vehicle, which sucks. They've had years to develop this engine and this vehicle, and they haven't put it in the vehicle yet. So we're dealing with another time constraint here. We're dealing with another vehicle that we have to wait for, and we don't want to wait. We've had to wait forever. The only thing they've done right, there's no mention of the Hornet. I don't even know if they're going to bring that back. But the only thing they've done right here is the Durango. They have not done that dirty. They have done it right. And I think for Dodge, that's your Halo car right now, is your Durango. In terms of Ram, I think they're starting to get in the right direction again with the 5.7 Hemi and offering that supercharger from Direct Connection. I'm curious to see what the price is going to be first. And I'm curious to see if they're going to throw the 392 in there. I know Jeep Gladiator is doing it, but I think for the most part here, they are doing right things with the company. I really do, but I think more products have to be unleashed here, which they might. But I think that more products need to be released for Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram to continue to be a viable company, especially on the Chrysler and Dodge side. Ram and Jeep, I'm not worried about. These vehicles will live on forever. The Ram truck is such a great vehicle. It's the best truck on the market. I've been in new gen GMCs, great vehicles, but they just don't compare, in my opinion, to the Ram trucks in terms of interior design and interior comfort. But Ford as well. Ford does offer some very good powertrains, I do have to say. But Jeep, again, offering great powertrains. I think they need to get the Hemi back into the Grand Cherokee. I think they need to get the Hemi back into the Grand Wagoneer. It is yet to be seen if that is going to happen, but it sounds like it could happen with the Grand Cherokee offering the 6.4 and the 5.7 again. We have the 4xe, and honestly, it's a great powertrain. Would I rather have the Hemi? Yes, but in our use case, the 4xe works really well. What I would really like to see is a 4xe option with either the 3.6 Pentastar or the 5.7 Hemi to give us that much more horsepower and performance. But we have yet to be seen if that is going to happen or not. But a lot of exciting stuff here from Roadkill Knights. I think the company is slowly in the right direction. It's slowly going in the right direction, and I think that, there is a silver lining on the horizon. I just think it took a few years for us to get here because of the whole Carlos Tavares travesty, what happened with the company. I really think that man should never hold a position in automobile culture ever again. He did the whole company wrong, and he should never be allowed to touch a Mopar vehicle again in his life. But enough of my opinion. I loved the releases here for the most part of the Mopar vehicles. So like and subscribe for more Mopar content. We'll see you in the next one, guys.